Hi, my name is Melanie McDonald, and thanks for joining me in our discussion about accounts receivable. So my question to you is, why do you think your customers are not paying you on time, or a certain percentage of them are not paying you on time? Why is it that you're up at night worrying about your accounts receivable? After all, it's expected that when you receive a service or a good, that you have to pay your bill. That's normal. So one of the things, you might want to take a minute and think about that. One of the things that I've experienced is that we use our accounting software in a default manner. And what I mean by that is when you start setting up, you get a new software, you start setting up your invoicing, it's going to default to terms that you may simply accept. And those default terms are really very traditional. They've been around a long time. They may say 30, 60 days or 10 days after the end of the month would be good, actually, if you selected that one. But they're terms that may or may not serve you. And it may be that you don't even know what those terms are, that whoever is sending out your invoicing has selected those terms for you. And so you may be operating under terms that don't work. So the first thing I suggest you do is look at what your invoices say and see if, in fact, you have something set up there that isn't working for you. So that would be the first step you can take in a strategic way to improve your receivables over the long run. Now, another step you can take is to think about what time frame would work based on who your customers are. So for example, if you have government contracts, they may dictate terms in their contract with you, and you may have to sign their contract. And you may think, well, there's not much I can do about that. It's a government contract that's pretty much set in stone. It really isn't. You can go to the contract administrator and you can explain to them about the size of your company, about your cash flow, and if you're doing a good job for them, they can think about what they can amend. And if you can talk with the contract administrator for a government agency, you can certainly talk to a contract administrator or your main contact at any company that you're working for. So that would be part of a long-term strategy. That's not something you're going to do in a week, clearly, depending on the number of customers you have. But these are steps you can take to shore up your accounts receivable. And today, there is really no longer a set in stone standard. What I mean by that is, if you think about just something commonplace, your credit card bills. So many years ago, before everything became electronic, I signed up for a different credit card that I hadn't had before, and was surprised to find out that my payments were always late. And I couldn't figure it out because I paid my bills twice a month pretty consistently. So why was it always late for this one credit card? They were always hitting me with fees. And I took a look more closely at when I was getting the invoice and when they said I was late. And I noticed that their expectation was that I would pay within 10 days. Regardless of when I received the bill, I needed to pay that within 10 days. Now that didn't work for me because it meant I had to go out of my cycle of how I was paying everybody else and stop right then basically and pay the bill to make sure it wasn't late. And I found that annoying. So I'm not proposing that you create an annoyingly short time frame for your customers to pay your bills. I'm not definitely not wanting to go there. I'm simply pointing out that even 30 years ago when this credit card started, they felt free to look at what they wanted to do and to say, you know what, we're not going to accept end of month or 10 days after end of month. We're going to say we want to be paid within 10 days. So this is really not a new concept. And so you need to feel, as a CEO, that you can come up with something that's going to work for your company, that's going to work for your customers as well, and not annoy them, and not have to stick with something that just comes as a default within your accounting software. So I'm wishing you all the best on changing your own expectations about when you can get paid and implementing those changes through your invoicing process and through working with your customers. I'm wishing you success. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.